What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again, and we're here for another fun, exciting live stream. It's not Lights, Camera, Clack. It's actually going to be a live interview with InArt with John, which many people will know from different interviews we've done over time. And guys, I thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have an awesome panel. Of course, we got Dean the Dream, and of course, we have Natalie G. Guys, thank you so much. An Avengers level panel as always. And guys, what we're going to do, we're going to operate this as efficiently as possible in the hour that we do have with John. So we're going to run 9 different questions. We're going to have each of the panelists ask a couple of different questions. We're going to go in order, and then we're going to open it up to the chat. So as always, I must prioritize super chats first. So if someone sends a super chat, I'm definitely going to get to John to answer those questions first as quickly as we can. And then after that, we'll open it up to just regular chats and try to get as many questions answered as we can in that hour. So with that said, John, how are you doing, man? Thanks so much for joining. John, I always forget your job title, dude. Aren't you like vice president of something? I forget. What's your job title?
No.
Yeah, I thought you were like vice president of like marketing or some shit like that.
Yeah. I don't think the title doesn't really matter. I have to do loads of hundreds of things. I feel like
you got to put the title in the banner next time, dude, because it sounds more professional. If I'm like, this is John, like vice president of InArt or some shit like that. Like,
yeah, marketing director, but I do a bit of everything. Like there's no job too big or small. I have to do it all because I'm the only foreigner in the company as well. So I have to do a lot of things.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have to do all the translation and stuff like that.
Yeah, proofread a lot of stuff, and make sure it's all goes out.
How many InArt team members is the first? This is like an informal first question. How many team members speak English? Is it a lot?
Speak English well enough to conversate. I'd say about 3 people.
Okay.
And then maybe from the bosses, maybe 2 people, but that's about it. And there's maybe over 100 people in the company. So.
Oh wow, 100 people. So, okay, that was going to be one of our questions. So that's perfect. Is Viper studying English at this point? Is he speaking English fluently?
No, he doesn't speak English fluently.
Okay.
He can say things here and there. So,
I mean, it always works. Like if you guys do a behind the scenes with Viper, it always works. If you have him, it's like subtitles or whatever. It's fine. So I mean, yeah, we get the message at the end of the day, and maybe we'll have you there to like translate next time, and then that would work.
Yeah, well, it'll be at STCC, so if people are there, they can practice English, or he can practice English.
Exactly. That'll work, yeah. All right, well, guys, we won't even, I'm assuming Dean and Natalie are doing well tonight. They're here. They look healthy to me, so I'm assuming they're doing well. What we're going to do, we're going to jump into our first question. So what we're going to do, the order we're going to keep it is Dean, myself, and then Natalie. So, and like I said, then we'll open it up to the chat. Maybe we'll mix in some super chats and stuff in between. But Dean, I'll bring up the question for you. You got the first one, so I'm going to let you take the floor on this one.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how many figures is InArt aiming to announce and release per year? And do you see it like sustainable, or like, oh, maybe we could push it even a little further, or maybe we should scale it back? What's that looking like?
That's a very good question, and it's a very difficult one to answer because the release schedule is based on what we said we're going to release. So, for example, Batman and Aragorn, we need to ship ASAP. When we've tried to put another figure up for pre-order, the comments immediately is, "Where's Batman? Where's Aragorn?" So, it's very difficult for us to push forward with new stuff, even though they're made at different times and you've got different processes. There's I don't know if people have studied critical path. You can start multiple things at the same time. You just need to make sure it's all done on schedule. And with rooting hair, it's especially challenging because it's hand finished. So when you're doing stuff by hand, you need big teams to finish it, and then it needs to be checked. And QC is really important. So the speed of release depends on the speed of the individuals finishing the figures, and then releasing new figures for pre-order. We need to control that because we don't want to make people unhappy. We're trying to make more stuff, and then everyone's like, well, where's what you said you were going to ship last year? So right now the goal is to just ship what we promised we'll ship and try and stagger the releases, so that the pre-orders, so that it's a bit more balanced. I think maybe 2 weeks ago, we put Harry Potter, Ron Weasley from Harry Potter for pre-order, and we'll have Hermione. Hermione should be this week. I think that should be.
That answers one of our questions too. Okay.
Yeah, should be announced soon. So those two are sort of like a pair anyway. especially in terms of approvals from Warner Brothers. So that's the next plan. Then maybe Michael Jackson end of this month, maybe July, and then we'll take it from there. But our main goal is to just get things shipping.
Nice. Okay, so you're definitely focused on shipping the product instead of announcing new orders, which John, I think, like you said, I think that's what people want at the end of the day. We just did a topic on Friday about announcements from InArt this year and so forth, but I think the priority is getting the product out so you can prove to people you guys are reliable and high quality. But it sounds like the rooted hair is the hang up a lot of the times. Is that the case?
Yeah, like all the clothes are tailored. They've got to fit the body perfectly. We're perfectionists, especially in the team, and then also, rooted hair. One of the issues with Batman that slowed us down a little bit wasn't actually the rooted hair. That has made things a bit longer, but the bat signal has been a bit trickier because
okay.
I'm not sure why. They just mentioned the bat signal, but everything's back on track with that, and it's shipping in batches. But the first batch is always the smallest batch because that one's like more of a control batch. And then once that goes out and everything's good, it should pick up pace from there.
Okay, got it. And with Hermione, real quick, John, did you guys make changes to the legs at all? I don't know if you noticed that feedback that people were giving you.
Yeah, we saw the feedback. So from the front, it's fairly seamless. Just from the back, you can see a slight joint. So
gotcha.
we'll share. We've done our best with that. It's really, really hard. Other than having like a silicone layer over the joint itself, it's really hard to make it completely seamless. So we'll share the photos in the next day or two, and then we'll see the feedback and then move from there. But we've done our very best to make sure it's as seamless from the front, at least. I think if you went around the back, you'd be able to see the joint.
Gotcha. Well, that's not too bad, I guess. At the end of the day, if you're going to be looking at the figures in your display case from the front, unless it's, fully like a glass display where you're walking around it from the back, then I think it's reasonable. So yeah. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our next question here. So this one's actually from me, John. So the question I have is, how likely is it that InArt is going to expand its future licenses beyond Warner Bros. Properties? Because it seems like Warner Bros. Properties are most accessible to you guys, and they're, you guys have a good working relationship with them, clearly. But with these licenses that you guys hopefully acquire in the future, are you going to be dedicating more of your efforts and resources to lines, or prioritizing those singular, like, iconic characters? What's your guys' strategy with that moving forward?
It'll be a mix. There'll be somewhere it's like singular iconic characters like Bruce Lee, Michael Jackson, which are both global license. And then we've got 2 more global licenses as well. I'm trying to remember what they are. Yeah, one of them's a bit hard to go deep into the line, but I think people will be very happy with it. And then the other one, the contract should be done hopefully before STCC, and then hopefully we can bring those figures with us, and that will be more of a line. But I can't say too much because the contracts aren't done yet.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. But I know you mentioned there are some licenses you guys are looking to acquire, which I know you can't mention for business purposes and competitive reasons. But you guys, it sounds like you are going to be expanding outside of Warner Bros. Relatively soon. I mean, I know you have Michael Jackson and stuff like that, but are there going to be other like film type characters that are outside of Warner Bros. Properties in the near future?
Yeah, there will be.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I think that's pretty exciting because with Warner Bros, there's a lot of great IPs there, but there is a little bit of limit of what you guys can do, especially in expanding lines and stuff like that. So, next question, Natalie, you have our next one. I'll bring it up here for you.
Yeah. So recently InArt announced Paul Atreides, and you guys have been able to sell that in the United States as well as globally, right, in all these other places.
Yep.
Is there anything you can share with us in regards to like the sales or marketing of that? Like, was there a noticeable increase in pre-orders just simply by being a global license? And is that something that InArt is now is it going to enable InArt to negotiate with Warner Brothers to make majority, if not more, of those licenses global?
Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of like sales, it's very difficult to compare figure to figure, because like if you do like an A/B test in marketing anyway, you've got to test the same variable twice. You can't like have if there's 2 variables are too different, it's not a very good test. For example, if I was going to test a website, you'd only test one thing, like one button would be green, one button would be red. And that's how you'd be able to tell. With a figure, because there's so many differences in opinion, like maybe people don't like Paul Atreides, they didn't watch the first movie. If we'd have done the second movie, maybe if we'd have added this accessory, maybe if there's 2 suits, all these different variables affect sales. So it's hard to compare figure to figure. But for us, we know that the sales in US especially were very good, and that's given us a lot of confidence to move forward, and we know we can sell more figures there. The issue is that the US market in particular is the biggest, most established market. So other companies are trying to protect that for themselves. So it makes it very, very hard to get licenses, especially for Warner Brothers. So for us, we can definitely put our money down on other licenses now and have more confidence and move forward with those and say, yeah, we'll be able to make this work here. But for other bigger companies, they already know it's going to work. They just won't always give it to us.
Got it. So Warner Brothers pretty much is the one who kind of lays down, like, we're already established with this license in this location, and there's no wiggle room now that you said, hey, look how well we're doing there.
There might be for the smaller ones, if we could, like Harry Potter, no one's really doing that other than us. So there might be something there. But for like the bigger Lord of the Rings, DC, anything like that's going to be really challenging. So we've got to find other little pockets we can make our own. But same with Disney, Star Wars you can't get, Marvel you can't get. There's certain things that they just say, we're going to leave it with these guys because we know those guys.
Right. I remember you mentioned that, John, with the boys and them having Star Ace, and stuff like that. Like, once the company has a manufacturer for figures, it seems like they really want to stick with them and they don't want to change much. So I guess it's difficult and, very important for you guys to get in early. Is that pretty much how it goes?
Yeah, pretty much. Like with Dune, if Dune becomes this big franchise and we've got in there, that's just luck and timing. So hopefully that will work out for us if we go for 2 and 3. And things move from there. So yeah, we just started late, so that's the problem.
Yeah, because without naming too many names, Hot Toys clearly has the Marvel and Star Wars and DC in the States. So I'm sure they're blocking you guys, and there are other companies too that have that type of stuff. So it's a business landscape. It's competitive. I totally understand. So but it's got to make it tough for you guys you got to jump in on, and you got to probably take risk on the IPs that you think could blow up, but you have to try to get in early.
Yeah, especially for a new company, we've got to be able to keep the doors open and the lights on. So that means we've got to be able to make money. So we've got to go for certain things that we think this is a safe bet. Once we've earned the money, we can take more risks and gambles, and then it doesn't matter if it fails. But for now, if it fails, it could set us back a little bit longer.
Right, makes sense. Well, Dean, you got the next one. Go for it.
Yeah, you had mentioned that you were trying to get the current orders out the door, like the Batman. So, are there any steps you guys are taking to increase the production capacity, or even just the speed at which figures are finished, packaged, and shipped? Or is the current rate something you guys are satisfied with, and you just gotta hone it in, or what's going on there?
Yeah, we're not happy with the current rate. It's taking longer than expected. What the steps we've taken, I think I mentioned this before on other streams. Basically, we've just hired more people because it's manpower really. The technology side of things achieved already, but for the rooted hair, there's no machine that does it right now. So that's where we've got to just scale up. And because there's not most companies that do rooted hair, they'll do it like 500 or less than that, or maybe 1,000. Don't do it in as much scale as we do. So what we've had to do is just hire specialist teams, train them, so they're catching up now. So in a couple more months, we're expecting for them to catch up and be up to speed. And then I'd say the second half of the year will really, really pick up pace.
Nice.
Okay. Is it possible, John, I'm sure you guys thought about this possibility, just to kind of appease people, put out the sculpted versions first and then the rooted come out after that? Or do you want the rooted to come out first as the premium product?
I'll ask about that. I'm not sure why we haven't. I'll ask.
Because, that's something that collectors have suggested to me before. Like, if the rooted is the hang up, maybe why not put the sculpted out first, get people excited and talking about it? Because I think that's one of the biggest criticisms of InArt right now is the delays in the windows between the batches, which you guys know, I'm sure. So if the rooted hair is the hang up, maybe the sculpted versions could help sort of mitigate that those criticisms and those complaints, and get people satisfied with something earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll ask about that. I'm not sure why we haven't done it.
Yeah.
I'll see.
It could be something. So what I think I have the next question here. So I wanted to ask John the remaining figure announcements for 2024. I know you mentioned Hermione, you mentioned the Michael Jackson. What else do you guys have on the docket that's going to be announced in 2024 for pre-order? And is there anything you can share about current figures in the prototyping phase that are going to be announced for pre-order maybe next year? I know you guys accidentally teased that Christian Bale Batman, but I don't know if there's any others that you can share that are not going to hurt InArt's position competitively.
Yeah, so we've got a Bale Batman, which I think people know about.
That was an accident.
Yes, someone jumped the gun on that. We've got. I'm not sure when Bruce Lee will be ready, but we should have 2 versions of Michael Jackson. One at the. I think we've already showed it. It's like the sparkly suit from I think it's from Budapest event, but it's similar to the Super Bowl live suit.
Yeah.
We should have another version of Michael Jackson. Lord of the Rings, we're developing that line towards the end of the year, so Legolas should be coming up. I'm not sure what's after Legolas.
That's it.
Legolas shouldn't be far off.
Yeah.
Made Will's goal night.
Yep.
It was because Thorin got announced, right?
Yeah, Thorin too. Yep, from The Hobbit. Yep.
Yeah. So basically, everything we showed at the end of last year, in October at Wonder Festival, that should be coming out this year. But I think what wasn't shown was Legolas and Bale. So all the others should be ready this year. So I'm hoping Christopher Reeve Superman will be done before the end of the year. But it all just comes down to licensor and also what can we keep getting out the door in terms of shipping.
But dude, Legolas, that's going to be huge, John. That one's going to be, because I mean, the Gandalf has already done so well. If you guys hit on the Aragorn, which I'm sure you will, then that one's going to be huge too. And then Legolas, that's the trio, the for most people. And I think that's going to be, like you said, if you're building lines, this is big too. Gimli's important too, but he's tiny though. He's tiny. I mean,
but can you make Legolas without Gimli?
Legolas without Gimli, yeah, come on.
Well, Gimli, but he's not as popular as my boy Legolas. Legolas he's a beautiful man. Let's be real here. So I mean, he's got long golden locks. I mean, come on. Now,
all right, keep your man crush to yourself. We all want Gimli.
I mean, John knows what's up. He knows Legolas is going to sell. So I mean, it's. But Natalie, you have a question about Lord of the Rings, and I think the chat wants to know this.
Do I?
Yeah, you're up next here.
Oh, okay.
It's about Aragorn. So
it is about Aragorn. Update. Just tell us, right? I think everybody wants to know. Can we get an overall status update on Aragorn? And I think I've got like a multi-part. Sorry, I'd like to jam all my question into one. But just overall status update on Aragorn. How's he doing? When's he coming? Is he looking as great as we saw the last time we saw in the protos? And then any other figures that were supposed to be released this year, if you can give us just an overall status update on that.
Yeah, so Aragorn, I know it's the first batch is done. So I think we're going to shoot some images and video this week. I think it was supposed to be shot last week, but there was a delay. This week we should be shooting and we should be sharing those online with everyone. And then shipping wise, I was told should start mid-June, which is only a few weeks away. If there's any issues, it could be mid to late, but that's when it's expected to start. I've not seen it yet, so I can't comment on. I've only seen the packaging. I can't comment
really?
on
What?
how.
As
what
the
it
vice
looks like.
president, you've only seen
as the VP.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, they didn't ship it up yet, so I've not seen it. But yeah, that's the goal. In the next week or so, we should be sharing updates.
That's awesome. So part of my question, I wrote it out to Will. I know it was a long question, so you had to kind of cut the second part of it. But I know recently you guys had, and forgive me, I don't remember what location it was held in, but you guys had the convention where you released like a bunch of the figures, including Ron and Hermione. One of the figures, I'm not sure if Aragorn was in that or not. I don't remember. But if you could share any updates on those figures as well, because I think there were quite a few that everyone was just losing their mind, especially me, right? I saw Ron, I saw Hermione, and straight up, those were my two favorite, biggest excitement moments. But did you have any like takeaways, or did InArt have any takeaways on those figures that may not have been as I don't want to say well received, but like there were feedback, right? So any updates on those?
Yeah, so I think the last big show was October, because we're coming up to like the event season now, right? All the cons and everything. So the majority of feedback was very good. I think there's a few things that we need to work on, especially at the time Christopher Reeve Superman. There was a lot of feedback around that, and I don't think the team did a good enough job. But part of that is that movie is just hard to get assets for because it's quite old. So we're still working on that. There's not been any real updates on my side where we're at with those. All I know is that Hermione's should be this week, and I'd say either today or it's late Sunday where you are. By Monday or Tuesday, you should be seeing some updates.
I'm so excited.
Just shared online.
Natalie's a huge Harry Potter fan on the panel, so
yeah, I'm very excited. We got her justice for Hermione's knees. That's the last thing I'm gonna say.
I mean, honestly though, like if it's the front view, it's not too bad. It's not ideal.
Listen, don't do that.
I mean, InArt hasn't really worked with Seamless yet before, it seems like. So they got to learn how to do that. So it's hard. But John, I know you guys didn't we ask about partnering with Vice and you guys were like, nah, we want to make our own stuff. Isn't that pretty much what your position is?
So that's more for Wonder Woman, yes. So right. Wonder Woman, because she's more of the body's exposed, we'd probably have to go for it. Well, and also Bruce Lee, we'd be going for fully seamless body.
Right.
Nice.
And we asked Viper about it last year in October. Actually, we don't see Viper very much because he's at the factory all the time, making sure that the production's going to plan. That's where he spends all of his time now. So he's like supervising the team from afar.
Yeah.
And then we asked him about it, and he says he's trying to work on his own bodies, so we can do different things. But with Hermione, because there's not much body exposed, it's only the legs. So I think that's why they've opted for like the traditional approach. But if it's a huge major issue, we can go back and I'll negotiate and see what we can do.
I have a feeling it might end up being. Personally, yeah, just
probably. Yeah.
I have a feeling that just looking at the chat now, I think people might like if it was a character maybe I cared more about, maybe I would do that way. But I think people might, especially for the price point you guys are going to be asking for it. I think that's going to be, yeah. I mean,
it just reminds me of Harley Quinn, right? Like she's so amazing, but everybody hates to display her in any position where you see the knees. But she's wearing a skirt. You don't have a choice.
Right. Yeah. And John, you guys are updating the Daenerys too, aren't you? Game of Thrones.
Yes. On Daenerys, I think the head sculpt needs a little bit more work, and also they want to spend more time on the outfits because the outfits are quite detailed and intricate. Because she's got like the outer coat, right, and then all the stuff on the inside. So we've partnered with some artists in China that are really specialists at that kind of stuff. So we're trying to work on the outfits as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's reasonable. Yeah. And are you guys going to do the Jon Snow soon as well, or is that maybe like a next year thing?
Could be a next year thing just because of timing of everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because those are like big companion pieces. So I think that makes sense. So Dean, you are up next, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
The Batman features an XY sliding track on the base. So collectors can adjust the point of contact for the figure to stand to, however they like it. Has this carried over? Like, do you guys like the way it's turned out? And has it carried over to like, oh, we're going to start doing that on our other releases in the future? Or is maybe something that you didn't like about it that maybe you're going to change and alter and make it, a little different?
At the moment, there's not been enough feedback for us to really know. So our original idea was like a fixed position was the best, and then of course it limits posing. So that's where they've come up with a track idea. They can move it around, but I think based on the few people that have got it, it seems a bit of extra work. So I think it's one of those things we'll just have to listen to feedback and take each figure we approach differently. So it's not like this is how we're always going to do things. We're gonna
Yeah.
like learn and iterate from there. But Will, you've seen it, right? So
Yeah, I
what's
have
your
them. Yeah.
thoughts
So
on the
I
track?
honestly, I like it because it's better to have the option than not. And you could very much keep it in a normal position if you want. And they're super easy to adjust. I mean, it's, the magnets, I honestly think it's great. It's better to have that option than to not have it. So to me, as long as it's not costing you guys a fortune to put in there, which I highly doubt. I mean, it's like some little plastic rails. I mean, I like it personally. It gives you more flexibility if you want to do something more dynamic and, because these magnetic bases, John, I've said, I know you guys are averse to the idea, but I've seen some situations, you've heard this a lot of the magnets being slightly unstable where the figure might fall. For me, like if you had like a little peg somewhere in the base that you could just cover with like a little piece, and then you could put an acrylic pole or something for people who maybe have uneven floors or earthquakes. I mean, to me, it's like you could cover it very easily if you want to use the magnetic base, or you could put a little crotch grabber type thing if you wanted to do that. But I know you guys are going for a more premium vibe than that, but it just helps, mitigate any issues where people have falling figures. My original Joker, which you knew, like I think the Joker, the first figure I got from you guys fell. Everything since then has been fine, but I did have an issue with that one. Luckily, it was okay because it hit the carpet. But beyond that, the bases have gotten a lot better since then, though. So I will say that. Yeah, I mean the Pennywise base I think is really good. The Bruce Wayne base and Batman, I think those are the strongest magnets I've seen yet, I would say. And then the fact that they're movable, you can get them just right. The magnet seems to be in the back of the feet for the figures, at least for Batman, like in the end back of the shoe. So you have to put it like really flat. People do need to know that, but other than that, I mean it's pretty stable. So, but I think it's cool to have the sliding track as long as it's feasible for you guys, doesn't take more time. I mean, at this point, I think people would give that up to get the figures faster, but I doubt that's just slowing things down at all. But John, I know a question you guys get a lot. This is a question I get a lot too, honestly. So I wanted to address this with you guys now. The influencer badge. So it seems to be somewhat polarizing. This is why I want to get you to kind of speak on record about this. I know you probably have before, but what value does InArt see in doing that sort of first influencer batch? And how are the influencers selected? And does this delay at all future batches from releasing? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's one of those, it's a difficult one for us because a lot of our licensing is only China anyway. So we ship our influencer batch to some people in China.
Right.
And in China they have, I don't know what, I've lived here a long time now, so I've forgotten what we'd call it. They call it, everyone's a VIP in China basically. So if you're a VIP, it basically means you're a big spender. So or you buy everything. So usually the first batches in China would go to your VIP. And then of those VIPs, you'll have what they'll say KOLs in China, which means that basically means good photographers and video guys that will do reviews. So that's what we do over here. For anything that is going overseas where we don't have control over, that's not us. That will be the retailer's choice. And for the retailers want to make sales, especially if they've ordered a few more. So that's usually how it goes. For us, we're not massively opposed to it because we're a new brand and still there's a lot of people that don't know who we are or are still on the fence about us. So we need to still keep growing the company. And it's once someone's bought something, especially a retailer, we can't control where it goes or what people do with it. So we can't call it back. Once it's shipped and we've sent the tracking number, it's gone. So so it's very difficult to control that anyway. It doesn't slow production down or anything like that. And I mentioned before, the first batch is smaller. It seems like it's only going to like 10 people or 20 people, but actually it's maybe 100, maybe a few more. It's just that the other people that are getting it don't post online. They're just like VIP collectors. So some of them are more private. They just aren't part of the community. They just collect a lot, especially in China. So that's how it works in general.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but it is valuable just to kind of get the word out, to get people to promote the product and show that it's good and stuff like that. And I know we have a question in the chat. I've seen this question pop up a lot. Like if the product's already sold out, is there any benefit to you guys for that? Like if the influencers are promoting a product that's sold out already, I mean, does it build hype for future products? Is there any sort of, perspective you guys can share on that one?
Yeah. So as I said, the retailer, a lot of the time, are sending it to people and they sometimes buy more stock. So, for example, they might sell 100 or 1,000, whatever the number is, but they might order an extra 100 or extra 20, 30, just so that when stuff ships, people that didn't order at the time because either they didn't know about it or they're on the fence and they want to wait to see, then they can sell those. So that's what the influencer batch for the retailers, it will do that for them. For our brand, there's still, like, if you go to our Instagram and Facebook, we only have like 8,000 followers on Facebook and about 13 on Instagram. If you can compare that to like Hot Toys or even Queen Studios has got like 80,000. So there's a lot of people that don't know who we are. The hardcore group that are watching this stream and all you guys that collect all the time, you guys know who we are, and it's massively frustrating to everyone else. But there's still a massive group of people that have never heard of us. So we still need to grow. There's loads more for us to do in that point. And the more we grow, the more license we can get, the bigger we can grow our teams, the faster we can do stuff. But the issue, I don't think, is the influencer batch. The issue is shipping speeds. We need to be quicker at that. If we were quicker at that, no one would care about the other part.
Exactly, 100%. They wouldn't. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, like, because the gap is between the influencer batch to like the first batch. It's too long. It could be months a lot of times. And at that point, that's why people get angry. If you had like a month or less, I think people would be like, okay, like, you know, as long as they're getting their shit. But if you, it's the delays. Exactly right. It's the delays in the production. So I'm glad you guys acknowledge it.
Yeah, we can't control when things ship and all that kind of stuff. For Paula tradies, anyone that bought it from us, the way we'll manage shipping, it should be quite fast and seamless. Because what we'll do is all US orders will ship on a container, and then when it lands, it will go out within 2 or 3 days. So when you see someone share it online in West Coast, East Coast should get it a day or two later rather than a month or two. So that's what we'll be doing for our global license stuff. But other stuff's really hard for us to control.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Well, Natalie, you have the next and last question here for us.
Yeah. So, of course, I had to end it on a Harry Potter question. It wouldn't be me if I didn't. So congratulations, because InArt really knocked it out of the park, right, with Ron. I think it was an amazing release. It got me super excited. I think got a lot of people super excited. So the question is, or I should say, there's a lot of communal debate right now going on about whether or not the line is doing well. And if InArt had done the cast from later movies, it might do better, or it might be doing better. So please chime in here and help us end this hard debate once and for all, right? How is the line doing? Is it doing well? And for me personally, I think you had to start with the Sorcerer's Stone, or in many places they call it the Philosopher's Stone, because it's so iconic. But why did InArt pick the first movie to start and launch the Harry Potter line?
Yeah, so I did see there's a guy on Facebook that's like sharing hard numbers, and he said that I like backed him up on the numbers.
Really? I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
either.
it's in one of the groups. I can't remember which group it is. It's like they worked out like, oh, it's only sold this many, and I never really shared any hard numbers on it. But in general, the Harry Potter line doesn't do as well as Lord of the Rings and as well as, of course, DC.
I tried to tell Natalie, but
the reason could be our audience is Harry Potter as an IP doesn't do that well in statues or collectibles. Harry Potter does well in like merchandise and stuff like that. And also I think people are less happier about collecting kids. They'd rather have the later versions, as you mentioned. So that also will affect sales. But for us, the first movie, or in China, the first movie was like one of the, around that time period, that's when movies start to blow up. So that's the one everyone remembers. So that's why they've gone for that one. And the later ones, I don't think were as popular as the first few. So that's why they've gone down that road. And then in terms of completing the line, it's not done as well, but we will continue to go a bit deeper. I think Snape's in the works. We've got Dumbledore. So there will be more.
Natalie's gonna be your only customer. It's like me with Pennywise.
No,
I
stop.
bought all
Don't
the
listen to him.
Pennywises.
I'm listening. Literally look at the chat. Everybody is
Well, I
saying
got
the
two
same thing.
Pennywises, John, right behind me. So I bought 2 of the 50 that you made. So, if anything, I was happy to support it. So Natalie's happy to support Harry Potter. There you go. I mean, you got a fan for something. But
And they'll be worth more in the future if
that is true.
well, whatever happens to InArt, those figures will be worth more. It's the same with like Harry Potter, even Gandalf. Gandalf sales were just steady, but the aftermarket price has jumped, and we're not making any more. So people that are reselling them are probably cashing in now.
They
So
are.
That's
maybe
what I've
in the
been
future,
trying to
Harry
tell
Potter.
people. I'm trying to tell people, look, if you don't get it now, you're going to be the only loser without a Harry Potter. Like, don't be that guy.
Dean, no, bro. We gotta set Natalie straight.
Dean,
bro,
look,
that's
Dean
fine.
gets it. He already
No,
bought
he
it.
doesn't. Don't.
Yeah, he
Dean's
did.
on my side on this one.
No,
But I
you
will
don't.
say Pennywise is doing pretty well in the aftermarket too, John. I gotta
Yeah.
say. I mean, because I bought them all. So I mean, I have the whole
Yeah.
stock. So I mean, like, if anyone wants one, you know where to find me.
So
All
I'm
10.
hearing from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there's a possibility we could get the same characters from later movies, potentially at some point or another, and or Hagrid.
No.
I'm hoping Hagrid, because that is an interesting character. I think it'd be cool to make because he's a lot bigger. I'm not sure if we will go deeper into like the older characters because maybe in the future, but I don't think we'll do it immediately. Just because right now the demand isn't as high enough.
Right. You gotta bait them. You gotta let them realize
No,
they
Natalie.
missed out. No, you gotta let them know. You gotta wait like 5 years, let the hype just really just sink in. Everybody is just gonna feel like they missed out. Then you release the later movies and everyone's gonna like jump on it. But you gotta release Dumbledore. Okay, if you're gonna release all these Lord of the Rings characters, you got to do Dumbledore.
Maybe.
Yeah, Dumbledore's. I think we showed Dumbledore last year.
Yep.
At the show, so Dumbledore's definitely in the works,
Ah.
and it's their first movie, Dumbledore, as well.
Oh,
So-
this is so good.
Oh yeah, before the actor passed away, I remember they changed actors, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the day of the show, that Michael Gambon who played the second Dumbledore died. So he
Wow.
died last year on the day we like revealed our like original Dumbledore.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think that'd have
That's
been a good time for us
crazy.
to do the other
No,
one.
never. But I mean, and the Michael Jackson too. I mean, that one that'll be an interesting market, and I think that'll be an interesting experiment for you guys. See how well the musicians do in 1/6.
Mm.
I mean, because that one's going to be pricey too, and it'll probably does it have a light up diorama for that one? I don't remember. Does it have like LEDs and
It
stuff?
has a stage base, but I'm
Right.
not sure if we've got LEDs for the lights because we didn't display it that way. We'll find out soon enough, but we
Yeah.
do have a stage as the base.
Okay. Well, we'll get some of these super chats. And John, I know a lot of people are asking the Christian Bale, because I'm sure you guys probably noticed Hot Toys just announced a new Armory. Are you guys going to do an Armory with the Bale or probably not?
Probably not now. No one's mentioned the Armory. I think we're just working on Bale first, making sure that we want to create the ultimate Bale. I know Hot Toys have done like 4 or 5 versions now or something like that.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we want to do our this is the definitive one for us, and then I think Armory would be secondary to that. I don't think it's been worked on as far as I know.
Okay, yeah, because it's definitely worth a look. But we have a super chat here. Chicken Vagina Stefan. Stefan said, "Can't stay." But to John, I know Harry Potter. Harry Potter question. I know Harry Potter isn't for everyone, but it means a lot to me, and I'm really grateful you did it. Richard Harris is my favorite Dumbledore, so I hope you still make it. Hi all. So hey. There you go, John. So Harry Potter, I mean, do you think that could grow in time like Natalie's projecting if you make more figures? Like if you double down or triple down and make more Harry Potter, will the demand go up? What do you think?
With Ron and Hermione, we've capped ourselves because when we released, the timing of Harry Potter was quite early on as a company. So a lot of people sitting on the fence. And when we started releasing more things, people are like, "Oh, can we get Harry Potter?" But and especially after releasing Ron, and when we release Hermione, people be like, "Well, I need Harry Potter now."
Mm-hmm.
But we won't make any more. We literally, when we say we're going to make it, that's all we make. So that's capped ourselves there. I think if we'd have released them at a similar time, it might have been a bit bigger, but the decision was made at that time, so we just got to live with that. But that's sort of.
It's great because now you have an opportunity in a couple of years. You release like the winter version of him where he's got his winter gear, and everyone's going to jump to it because they got Ron and Hermione.
Maybe.
Maybe. But
I doubt it. Though. Yeah.
But then people wouldn't be happy though if it's like a re-release. We don't
No, it's
want
not
to
a
go down that.
re-release. It's the winter version. It's different.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's Hot Toys move right there. That's not.
Look,
Indiana.
whatever. You gotta get
It's
in where you
different.
fit in.
You're talking to the vice
Okay.
president here. So
Yeah.
Christian, by the way, Christian 999. Can you talk about what happened with the later Gandalf batches and hands not going on, rings being messed up, and the sculpts having too much hair? John, have you heard about this feedback? I've been seeing this a little bit lately. What are your thoughts?
The rings issue's been brought up. I think Zach messaged us. That's one of the teams that made that drop the ball. And no, like we don't even know why they changed the material. So what's happening now is they're making replacements for the rings already. And if anyone's got the wrong ring, they need to contact the retailer. I saw in the comments below that the retailer, they've contacted retailers with damage issues and nothing's happened. So what we're doing is we'll be releasing our new policy soon. So if you don't hear back from your retailer within like 30 days, just contact us directly and then we'll look into it. That's
awesome, dude. Because that ring is awesome, and I couldn't even find it in my box when I originally reviewed the Gandalf. It's so tiny, dude. But it is metal. It is die cast. So what were they being made out of, John? And Dean, you know probably. What was it, like plastic or something? What was it?
We don't even know. It's supposed to be the agreement with the company we're working with, because that one's like we don't make everything in house. Some parts are outsourced, right? Because it's the rings. It was supposed to be die cast, but I think the company that was making them had changed the material and they didn't even tell us. So we didn't even know. We've just got customer reports in China about it, and then we're looking into it. And then we've spoken with the factory that makes them. They're denying it, but we just asked them to make more and getting them replaced. So we right now, anyone that's got the wrong ring just needs to contact the retailer. That's what we're saying in China, and we're going to replace them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's all. Well, like they're denying it, but they're the ones who made it. So how did they get? How did they get out there? I mean, like it's
Sometimes stuff happens like that in China. There's just sometimes
it
can be the Wild West. Yeah, in certain areas it can be the Wild West.
Okay,
but we just won't work with them again. So we choose our team like based on recommendations or people we know. So if they do stuff like that, we just won't work with them for accessories.
That's shady AF, bro. But so we got another Super Chat 999 cinematic collector driving right now. But will there be more standalone accessories available for purchase, like Gandalf's rock diorama? Why weren't those hyped and photographed? Thanks so much, John.
The rock diorama, we will put those upon our website, and people can order direct from us. And I think other people might sell them, but we're not advertising them as Gandalf specific because it's just a rock. So we don't. We don't want to have the licensing, because it could be used for any figure. It doesn't have to be Gandalf. You could use it for any of your figures that from another company that you've bought from. So we'll just have some custom bases that will fit with our figures, or it might fit with something else. So that's something we might do more of later down the line. But it's more of an add-on for people rather than this is that it should be with this thing.
That's awesome. I love that.
Did you ever think, John, you'd be selling 1/6 rocks? Because I mean, I've never seen that.
I don't think that was our original plan, but I think we'll start doing it.
Well, yeah, you called an audible. It worked out. So Matthew Carey, $4.99. Thanks so much, bro. Are you going to make Batman Begins bail? When will you announce Daenerys Targaryen? Are you still planning to finish the Tease Harry Potter line? That sounds like he said yes to that one. But what about the bail and Batman Begins?
I don't think it's Batman Begins. It'll be either The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, and I'm still waiting on confirmation which one it'll be. It's most likely going to be Dark Knight.
Yes, that's the one. I think we should do that. But what about Daenerys? She's going up for PO probably this year, right?
Maybe this year, yeah. Maybe towards the end of the year.
Dude, because I think that one's going to be a big one, John. I think that's going to be bigger than Hermione, bigger than Ron. I think so. Yeah, I think definitely.
Yeah, as much as I ended up really liking the 3-0 line of Game of Thrones, because it definitely improved.
Yeah, over time.
I don't think they ever got Daenerys right, and I am in desperate need of a Daenerys Targaryen on my shelf. So
yeah, but you got to make John though.
It'll be huge.
You got to make John. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's really important. I mean, Jon Snow, I think, is going to. if you're only gonna make 2, those would be the 2. I mean, that's
Yeah, Jon Snow is in the plan. I just haven't seen it yet. It's probably next year now. And some of them we will be expanding licensing even further to Asia this year. So Southeast Asia will be added. We'll have like Taiwan, South Korea. We should have Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, all those different countries. So hopefully we're expanding. So by the time we get further down the line, it'll be available in more countries as well. Like we added Australia towards the end of last year, so that's our goal. So by the time some of the stuff we teased, hopefully it's more available in US or hopefully US. But that's the hardest one to get.
Have you guys thought about even doing House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, or is that a separate license because it's not Game of Thrones?
It's under the Warner umbrella.
Okay.
But no one, I think it's been talked about, but there's just so many different IPs that we're working on already. And as you guys have already noted, it's difficult for us to get stuff out the door as well. So there's like a million things we can do. We've just got to be very focused, and what we said we'll do it, and try and focus on what we're doing now rather than take on too many tasks at once.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and just get the figures out while you can. But we got another super chat. Don Matan, we're going to roll through these guys a little bit so we have time here. Can we get a Sauron or any other Lord of the Rings villains? What do you think, John?
There should be the villain. There should be a few villains on the way. I'm really bad with names. Is it the Nazgul or something like that?
Oh, dude. It was the Nazgul. It was the Ring Wraiths.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
the
that
Ring
was on
Wraiths.
the original production list, I remember.
Yeah, the Ring Wraiths should be coming. But I just don't have a time frame. And in terms of the other guys, like the other villains, that's
probably the
not
Witch
been
King?
really in the works. Maybe the Fellowship's been worked on right now. So I know Frodo, Sam, and Legolas we mentioned. I know most of the Fellowship's been worked on right now.
Probably Boromir, I would suspect. Yeah, maybe the Sean Bean character. I think that might be one. But Sauron, though, the statue I have behind me here. He's massive. So if you did him, he's probably going to end up being a statue, I would assume, because
he's like an 18-inch figure.
Exactly. He's massive. But I mean, and also, by the way, you talked about rooted hair being the hang up with the ring rays. They have no face, so you can get those out the door like no rooted hair, dude. Those will go out like immediately.
I mean, Voldemort has no hair and he has no nose. I mean, that's two things that you don't have to worry about.
WillFoxification figures ship me right out, dude. Like, you don't even need an influencer batch. Like, I can go right out. So.
Yeah, but you got to get seamless arms because he never wears.
That's
sleeves.
true, but you got to get the tattoos right. I mean, that's.
I was gonna say the tattoos would be a challenge.
That'd be the challenge. There's a lot of detail there, so you got to get those right. But let's see. We had some other super chats. Cinematic collector. Oh wait, that was one we had. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that was one about the Gandalf rock. Sorry, Melon sometimes does some wonky stuff. Let's see. We had another one from Luel. Hashtag. Will you use more USB technology / dynamic dioramas? What do you think about that, John?
On the USB technology, that kind of stuff we're always working on. We'll try and find what the best fit is for that figure. More diorama bases will be coming, and like even with the Harry Potter ones, if you buy Ron, Hermione, and Harry, all 3 bases will fit together to display. So you've got the corner of the common room. So we're working on stuff like that just to make it a cool display feature. So when you've got your series, you can like put it there, and that's the definitive that this is my Harry Potter area.
Natalie's gonna have to change her display up for that.
I'm so happy. You don't even know. You don't even know.
Well, now you don't know how big these InArt bases are. I mean, they're like Batman. No.
Oh yeah, no. I have a whole built-in section on that side of the wall. You'll have to see when you come to Florida. That side of the wall is where it's going.
Okay, yeah. Well, you're gonna have to get ready for this Harry Potter line here. So, Dirk Diggler's stunt double 199. Thanks so much. Is there any plans on a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman? What are the plans on that, John?
Someone brought this up before. I know that a lot of statue companies have been doing Michelle Pfeiffer recently.
Yeah.
But no plans immediately. Has anyone done it in 1/6?
Jazz Inc. just announced it. They're about to do it. Licensed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there only Europe, or do they have global license for that?
I think it's global, from my understanding. Yeah. So, and they're making like a battle damage version and a standard version with it. So,
yeah, I saw the stream, but I didn't see the whole, like every detail.
Yeah, and there's going to be like
Interesting.
interchangeable faceplates apparently. So they got a whole thing going on there. But I mean, honestly, you know how it works. But I know you probably can't comment. But once Hot Toys sees that they announced this, they'll probably be like, "Here you go, we're
They'll
making
make
one."
theirs.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
they'll do. Yeah. So I can assume. So if you guys jump in, you might end up being third at this point because Hot Toys is probably going to respond. So
Probably. Yeah, I don't. We're not really in the business of chasing others right now. We're just doing our own thing. So I think if we get there, we'll get there.
makes sense. Well, Anthony Andreas, thanks so much for $7. Chainsaw Man update and how many figures in the 1/12 series expected to launch for InArt? What are your thoughts, John?
Chainsaw Man, I think we've got the approvals from the licensor to move to the next stage, which I think should be like photography, and because you have to get everything approved every stage. So I think we're at the photography stage now. And then 1/12, I think we're hoping to have SDCC as our soft launch to show people our 1/12 figures. So we might be planning some smaller fan event as well outside of SDCC. And we'll be thinking about stuff like that in the next couple of weeks because we need to get a move on. But we'll be showing more 1/12 hopefully by the end of July.
Nice. Well, Figurecraft has another one. John, is InArt interested in the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film? That would be interesting. Maybe a plastic/silicone hybrid figure. Curious as to no one has jumped on that. What are your thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I contacted the licensor for that and we spoke with them and it's doable, but our team just didn't want to do it for some reason. I think they said that NECA's done a really good job in a smaller scale, right? I think that's 1/12.
Yeah, they did a quarter scale ones at one point too.
Yeah, they said that really, and it's difficult for us to put our own stamp on it because they're just turtles. Whereas like rooted hair outfits and stuff like
you
that,
can give them rooted hair. Could you imagine rooted hair Ninja Turtles on your shelf and having like a date come over? Like, dude, they would be like, "What?" Pennywise is good enough, but imagine that, dude. They'd be like, "What in the?"
Or
fuck?
Splinter.
Yeah,
Splinter.
Yeah, the rat, having the rat. Harry
Yeah,
Potter's
yeah,
works
the rat.
enough, Natalie, but if you have Splinter on your shelf with rooted hair, they're going to be asking some serious questions. They're going to have to go home at that point. By the way, Sergeant Sour collects. Any chance to get a Tombstone line, like the pizza, like Tombstone, like, or is it something else? Like
Tombstone's a movie, right? That's the Western movie.
Is it? Okay, I was thinking like the Tombstone pizza brand. That's what I was thinking of. But
you're stuck on the turtles eating pizza.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
That's very, very niche. A very niche movie, I think.
That is.
It was at the time. It was big, but I don't recall. I can't even remember it. But yeah, I don't think we'll do Tombstone.
Yeah, that's more definitive because a lot of times you'll be like, well, maybe this one. You're just like, nah. Like, it's not
man, there's still figures coming out for that movie even last year.
What who made those, Dean? Are they 6 scale?
Yeah, 6 scale.
Okay.
Because we watched it for our movie of the week on our show because the figures were coming out and some of us hadn't seen the movie.
Is it like a Clint Eastwood movie or something?
No, it's Kurt Russell and what's his name? One of the Batmans.
George Clooney.
No, the one
Val
before
Kilmer.
him.
Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I'll be Huckleberry.
It's really good. It's a really good film, but
iconic.
It's just not, yeah, it's just not been seen. Like I don't think it's been on over here. And
that's
I think
true.
in Asia, I don't think it's that popular. I think in UK and maybe Australia and America it'd be popular.
Yeah.
But I think in other countries it wouldn't be as big.
You know what's more popular than Tombstone? The Golden Girls.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Harry Potter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Harry Potter.
I think it was going to lead us into our super chat. Natalie, I thought you were learning. You're professional at this point.
Unrelated. How do you remove somebody from the chat?
Exactly. I can remove them. I got that power. And John's vice president. He can do it.
No, but
John,
seriously, like I would die if the Golden Girls came out.
Now that's the most obscure request. It's never.
Listen, no, it's not. Listen, let John answer the question.
He's not going to do it. He's going to
He knows. He watches I bet you he watches. John, do you watch the Golden Girls?
Never seen it.
All right,
It is a good show, but Natalie's tripping for sure. If you made Pennywise, bro, No.
We'd do Baywatch before we did Golden Girls if you like talking about like.
No, because you guys
Classic.
haven't done Seamless yet. You got to do Seamless for Baywatch. You can't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, exactly. You got to hire Feistin at that
We'd
point.
get there. We'd get there.
Is Harry Potter?
Hasselhoff would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. You got to get the chest hair though, rooted chest hair. It would slow the production down. But is Harry Potter releasing this year, John? Officially, you think? Projected?
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we should be able to ship to Australia this year as well. Yeah.
Oh, people were asking about this, John. We're gonna rapid fire these. The Superman's flight pole. Did that change at all? Get adjusted?
No, we spoke with Viper about it, and he said that's the best solution. And that's all he said to us. He says we've looked at all the different angles, and when people see it in person, they'll might have a different opinion rather than what they saw online. But he says they've tried lots of different things, and that's the best one.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we got a super chat. No question, but thank you so much, Lieutenant Weenus. That's a great username, by the way. I think he just wanted his username read. I think that's what it was. But thank you so much, bro, for that one. I got to read that one live. So Figurecraft, thanks so much. That was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. So we did that. Let's see. Tombstone, we did. Harry Potter, we did. Superman, we did. Okay, here we go. Gavin. Any plans to go further into the Batman 2022 line? Will it be a good time to announce more when the Penguin series comes out? Just saying. So Catwoman, Penguin, anything like that at all, John?
Yeah, nothing's been mentioned about that. I personally think like a Riddler and Catwoman would be really cool. And even Penguin, but nothing's been mentioned. So yeah, our schedule's really full. I think if the second one came out, we'd probably have a look at it again. Hopefully we wouldn't do Batman again. We'd start looking at developing more characters once there's some hype around the film again.
Okay. What about the Batman batches shipping? Any estimate on when shipping is going to occur for those?
It's in process now. Just slow. The next batches should be bigger, and I'm not sure when. Maybe July. The next bigger batches should start to ship.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then we had D'Angelo. Can we please get video games? I know y'all want to do Kratos, but the line is great with Thor and Loki. Love y'all. I mean, there's Last of Us. Dean always knows. I say the same games. Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, stuff like that. I know we mentioned
Arthur Morgan is what he wanted to
Red Dead Redemption. Absolutely. Arthur Morgan.
Always leaving out my man.
We're probably going to go down the route of video games in 1/12. I think that's what we're looking at.
Oh, drawn.
I mean, I'm still in, but I'm salty, John. I want 1/6. I want both. I mean, there's a lot of video game fans out there who will buy 1/6. Look, you're looking at 3 of them right now. So, I mean, I think we would. I think you'd be surprised.
We could pay the R&D on it with how many we'd order.
Are video game licenses more expensive, John, than like Harry Potter? Is it?
Every license is different.
Okay.
You can negotiate what you can negotiate. The difference is for Warner, you negotiate because they've got so many movies. You'll like have a big blanket. Basically, you can go for lots of different things and you can make it work. The problem is when you start going for like smaller licenses, it's really hard because you've only got maybe 1 or 2 characters that you know are going to sell. So, and those have got to do enough to cover what they expect in the licensing fees.
Sure.
So that's what makes it challenging. Whereas at least Warner Brothers, if we miss on Harry Potter, we'll make it up on this one. So you can afford to do that. Whereas like the smaller ones, it's got to be cheap enough to make it like it's not going to cost us the earth, or it's got to be like popular enough to know that we can develop enough characters to make our money back and pay the licensor.
I will say with Last of Us, that's doable. Like there's a lot of good characters out there. So, Arthur Morgan, though, Red Dead, you might only have the one.
No, you've got John, which was the original. Then you got Arthur. Gosh, Will,
but Arthur,
he's not a video gamer, Natalie.
I am. Dean, I literally have an Arthur Morgan. You can see him. He's shooting his gun with a horse.
Yeah, but like you're a scam artist. You didn't even have it. You're talking.
I didn't say that.
Dean recommended Avatar Pandora. Okay, so Dean is not a real gamer at this point. We got a super chat from Jay. Is there plans for a Batman BvS, potential for a Bruce Wayne 2-pack? Is that still happening, John?
BvS is in the works right now. I'm not sure on the release time. I'm not sure if it's going to have Bruce Wayne, but I know we're working on a BvS Batman.
Okay, you guys are still committed to that, even though DC is dead. DC EU. I know it's like because Black Adam, you guys kind of abandoned.
It's Superman. Right? Can't not.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, like, but they bailed on Black Adam, right? So I mean,
that's because Black Adam really wasn't. What did you guys think? Do you think it was a great movie?
No, Natalie
Grail.
thinks it's a Grail, but I think the movie was
Look,
terrible.
I didn't even see the movie. I just know it's gonna be real.
Yeah, I think they were banking on The Rock selling tickets for that, and I don't
Right.
think it did as well as they thought. And also, it's not as well known. Like people I never heard of Black Adam until that movie came out, because the comic books aren't as popular outside of the US. I think in certain countries they are. It's more of like the cartoons and the movies have made the characters bigger. So yeah, Batman, Superman, they're all famous anyway. So if it's Batman, people know who Batman is. So, and everyone has their own Batman, right? So the younger generation might think it's Pattinson. Then some people might think it's Clooney. There's some crazy people. Then yeah, everyone's got their different version.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
It's definitely Christian Bale is the correct answer, but I will say that everyone can have their own opinion. But Dean doesn't like the Dark
Exactly,
Knight, by the way, John. So yeah, I don't know why he's even here.
I don't know how can't you like it? That movie
I
like
know,
kickstarted
like
everything.
I think there's something wrong with him, but
I know. I always say it. I know I'm the only guy. I don't know. I don't like those movies.
Isn't the Dark Knight super
But-
popular in Asia, John?
Yeah, because that around that time is when, well, in China specifically, around 2008 is when they had the Olympics, and things were starting to blow up. The country was starting to get richer. People was going to movies. Before then, people couldn't really afford it, or it wasn't a thing. So, like, they maybe saw a few old retro movies, and the domestic movies were big. But around 2008, those movies blew up, so that's why it's so popular here.
Gotcha. Well, Freddy Krueger 84 is asking statue representation. I know, bro. I should ask a statue question. He wants to ask about the Queen 1/3 scale Thor and when it's going up for pre-order, and when's the next life-size Iron Man.
I'm not sure if we're developing any more life-size Iron Man. We are shipping the 1-to-1 Hulkbuster now, so you might see some like 1-to-1 Hulkbusters in people's houses or gardens popping up very soon. Then the fourth Thor figure should be
People's houses.
statues.
You mean?
Yeah,
Outside
Yeah,
people.
some people I think they've got a room, but I think it mostly be outside, or like they'll build their own custom display building for it.
John, I
it's
don't know how
over
the
40,000
Hulkbuster even
bucks.
exists that you guys made. That shit is like wild. I mean, that's
We've sold 6 in the last week, so there's
What
still
the
people
fuck?
wanting to buy it.
And
Who's
you're
buying
telling
like
me that the Harry Potter market is not lucrative?
well, no, that because that's like I'll say this later, but that's like big dick energy shit. Like if you take you buy a Hulkbuster and put it in your fucking what's it called warehouse, that like who's gonna display that? Like Shaquille O'Neal? I mean, like who has that type of money?
Hey,
Like,
ladies, come check out my kitchen. Oh, don't mind my Hulkbuster.
honestly,
It's just sitting
I should
in
sell
the
my
way.
whole collection and buy that shit. I would have so many dates, dude, because they just come over and be like, "I'm fucking balling, dude. I got a Hulkbuster in this bitch." Like, Dean,
How
don't
You just have
weather-
to like. You could
How
live in a
weatherproof
tent
is
behind
that?
it.
you live in the tent, but you could live in the Hulkbuster. Honestly, you could like,
Maybe,
just-
yeah.
you could like cut something out, but you don't want to.
How,
do it,
how weatherproof is that?
yeah, weatherproof
Trying to
job
leave it
was
in their gardens.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just looked up a picture. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, so I think some of the places where we're selling them to, mostly Southeast Asia, and they have like monsoon season and all kinds of stuff, so they must have to have it inside. I think that's the only way.
Yeah, gotta be. Well, we got a couple more real quick. We'll get through these. Is there any interest in doing a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, John?
There's interest, yeah, but the time again, I'm not sure on the time frame. Maybe next year.
Yeah, DCEU is dead, so I don't know. Any idea what the pricing would be like on Makima? Who's Makima? Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Makima? Does anyone know who that is?
Man character? Or
Yeah, I guess it's a character. Is it an anime thing or is it a 112 thing? I'm not sure. Riley, you're gonna have to let us know. Do you know, John, who
Not
Makima
sure.
is? I don't know who that is.
No.
She's from
Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, John, are you guys making anything besides Chainsaw Man on that line?
I've only seen Chainsaw Man right now, but that's a separate team working on like the anime Japanese licenses. So I've not seen too much other than Chainsaw Man.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, maybe so we're not sure yet. But Anthony, thanks so much, bro. Any chance for Mad Max, Jackie Chan, or Donnie Yen?
So Mad Max, not really. I think we asked about Fury Road, but for some reason we couldn't develop it. I'm not sure why. That's something from the licensor. And then Jackie Chan, probably not. And Donnie Yen, I was hoping we were going to do John Wick, but unfortunately that's not going ahead now. So no Donnie Yen.
Are you going to do John Wick himself though?
No, it didn't go ahead. There was certain things that just on the business side that held us up, and I was told we just don't have the time to do it this year. So maybe we'll pick it up later down the line, or someone else will pick it up.
Yeah, I think so. Because J&D is making a statue, and other companies, Hot Toys making 1/6. But Pedro, Eve from Stellar Blade, please statue or figure. I don't even. What is Stellar Blade? Does anyone know what that is? What is that, Dean?
It's a new video game that came out.
Oh, well, InArt, not quite on video games yet, and if they do, it'll be Last of Us first.
Well, they have to do first. They have to finish the Arthur Morgan. That's
yeah, they'll do Arthur Morgan and Last of Us, and then that should be good. And then Kratos, maybe once they figure out the seamless thing. Sergeant Sal Collect 199, thanks so much. How about a Chuck Norris to go with Bruce Lee? Chuck Norris.
Oh, that would be badass.
Would you guys make a Chuck Norris, John?
Just say no.
No. No.
I'd like to, just because we could like do loads of miniature cards with all the world's Chuck Norris jokes on them.
Oh, dude, that
cool.
figure's got so much meme potential, dude. That's
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Dude, that's iconic. That fight between the two, man.
I mean,
it'd be cool if we could do it, but I don't think we would. But,
no,
because most people over here won't even know who he is.
Right.
Ace is a big market for us.
Really?
Yeah, right.
You would just advertise it as the most interesting figure in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where Chuck Norris learned how to fight. It was Bruce Lee was his teacher, and that's why he's in that movie with him when they fucking took it out. That'd be crazy. That'd be a really cool figure.
Bruce Lee's technically born in California, though, right? He was born in San Francisco and then moved to Hong Kong when he was younger, and then came back. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he's pop. Yeah,
he was.
I don't think people over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he came back to Hong Kong and then went back to the US, and I think he spent most of his like late teens, 20s in USA. So
yeah,
I don't think over here people know Chuck Norris is.
John, what about Matrix? Do you guys still have interest in that?
Working on it, I think.
Is it just Neo though, or is it going to be Morpheus, Trinity?
I know we're working on Neo, but I don't know. I'm hoping Morpheus because that'd be awesome.
Dude.
And Trinity, but they didn't say yet. But we are working on Matrix.
Okay, gotcha. Is it Matrix 1 most likely for Neo?
Most likely.
As long as it's not the new Matrix, dude, because that one, yeah.
We started on that.
I think you started on that, and then everyone was like,
we dropped it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, the world dropped the movie, so it's fine. J-Shot 199, BvS Batman announced this year or next? This year, right? You said, John?
This year, yeah, it should be this year.
Okay, this year. Lane Kramer, thanks so much, Lane. Any update on Black Adam on Throne, the statue?
Not just yet. We're shipping the Nightmare Batman right now, so Black Adam shouldn't be too far off after then.
Nice. Okay. Well, I got that Loki, and I'm very happy with it. So I think it's pretty exciting, the statue. So, but anyway, guys, I think that's it. I think I got through all the super chats. If I missed anything, I'm so sorry. If I missed any other questions, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I have to prioritize the super chats just because people paid to have their question read on air. So we're at about our hour mark. We're a little bit over. So, John, thank you so much for joining us, bro. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share with the people? Anything you want to share that's exciting from InArt? It's always exciting to have you here, man. It's good. The community always loves hearing from you guys, just so we know what's coming up. We can get questions answered, and no other company does this. So I think we do really appreciate that you guys are being so transparent about this stuff.
Yeah, well, I think Jazz Inc. is starting to do a lot more, right? So maybe
they are a little bit, to be fair. I mean, but they've not really been in the figure game. This is something they made the one Vulture figure. They made, I think that might be it, right? That's it. So they're really new to figures. They've been doing vehicles and stuff like that, and some of it unlicensed, some not. But now they're starting to get into figures, and they'll do some, they'll answer some questions and stuff. But you guys have been consistently answering questions for what you guys have been around for 3 years now, right? For InArt, Queen's been around longer, but
22, so 2 years, just over 2 years now.
2 years, okay, gotcha. I couldn't remember because the Joker was the first one. I couldn't remember when that was. Yeah,
that was March 2022, I think.
Okay, so 2 years. Yeah, it's crazy. You guys have, there's been a lot. I mean, there's been I think I made a graphic of this. There's been like 5 or 6 releases in 2 years. I mean, that's that's not too bad. I mean, I think
maybe
we had
a bit more.
Yeah, because we had
in terms of
we had the two Jokers, Pennywise, Gandalf, Batman, and Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah. In terms of shipping, yeah. That's
Yeah,
fine.
in terms of shipping, yeah. So, but yeah, John, any final thoughts at all that you have?
I think look out for Hermione dropping this week. We'll be dropping some images. I think price wise should be same as the rooted hair Ron, so it'll all be around a similar price range. In terms of accessories for Hermione, there'll be loads. There'll be lots of books that you can flip through the pages of. There'll be like a quill you can dip into the little pot. So there'll be lots of different things like that.
Like with real ink?
No real ink.
Like, it's gonna be like, because that's InArt realism right there. We need that.
No.
That's next level.
Yeah, that's next. But it will delay the
upgrade.
batch. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll be making some more announcements on STCC soon, so maybe around the end of June. Other than that, the rock base we're hoping to add to our site, and also we'll have some more news on the detonators as well. So people that didn't get a detonator, there'll be a chance to buy those from us, and we'll be giving 100 away as well. So anyone can enter that. Yeah, they're the big things. And customer service issues, we've updated the customer service email on our Facebook and Instagram. So if there's any issues and you can't get in touch with a retailer, contact us and we'll see what we can do. We can't help every time, but where we can, we will. So yeah, they're the main things.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us, man. Natalie, Dean, any final thoughts? Do you guys have it all you want to share with John?
No, just thank you for answering our questions and being a homie.
Yeah, exactly. And homie, yeah, being the vice president, the homie, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll second that. This was great. Great to meet you. Great to talk to you. And I look forward to Hermione's knees being fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny when John even thought there was a possibility that people would let this go, because they're definitely not going to. He was like, we'll see what the feedback is. No, people are going to harp on
That's
this for
the
sure.
feedback. I'm letting you know in advance. So
I even saw the comments were like, Will, this is unacceptable. You have to tell them, like, it's got to be seamless. I mean, it really should for the price you're charging, to be fair, but it's at the back of the leg.
And John, don't let all these people tell you, especially Will and Dean, that Harry Potter is not where it's at, because it is. People in the chat, don't listen to them. They're talking.
I didn't say anything.
You're guilty by association.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe because you're both on the same level. Me and John are down here in the two bottom two. The people in the chat are going nuts for it. Just
because they like you,
Natalie.
Yeah. That's why they're friends with you and they want to support you, but
Well,
they won't support Harry Potter for $600, and the facts show it. So
well, hopefully they went and bought the things.
yeah, I hope so too. But Pennywise is the best figure been released so far. There's not even a question. So it's John. Honestly, man, that thing is a grail, and that thing is doing well in the aftermarket too, man. That thing's doing.
Why are we still
well.
talking about that? Can we?
Well, because it's the best figure they made. Like, John, how many did you? Can you tell us how many you made? How many Pennywises did you make?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
7.
More than 7.
No, it was
maybe
like
more than the 2 that Will bought.
Yes,
a bit more than 500. A bit more than that. Okay. I don't know. I'll check the number, and then if you go to SDCC, I'll tell you.
But Harry Potter is higher than that, yeah.
Yeah. When is SDCC, John? Because I might try to get out there if I can.
Maybe I think it ends on the 27th or 28th of July.
And you guys are there the whole window?
We're there for the whole window.
Okay.
It starts on the preview nights on the Wednesday. I can't remember what the dates. Maybe 23rd.
Okay.
Maybe 23rd or 24th till the 28th. I can't remember. Around that time.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry we couldn't get to every single question. I appreciate you guys for being here with us. Thank you to Dean and Natalie. Thank you to John for answering our questions as always. And hopefully John will want to come back. We'll do another interview maybe in 6 months or something when there's more to talk about. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Check out the content, of course, on Collecting Weekly. Those guys are amazing. Check out everything they have going on over there. Natalie's YouTube list, but one day maybe we'll convince her and we'll convince her to create a channel. And then, of course, the content on this channel. And InArt, Facebook, check them out. InArt, Instagram. InArt has a new YouTube channel, which you can check out. You can find, I think that's pretty cool. John, by the way, as we end, why did you guys do that? I was confused about that. Was there a reason?
The old, because we have to use VPNs to get on social media. So the old YouTube channel, we got locked out of it, and we can't get back in. So
dude,
and we're trying to get the old one removed. But that's the difficulties of being over here, where we can't get on social media without VPNs. And if Facebook or Google thinks you're in a different location, which you are most of the time, it will create a security alert. So it happens all the time. I got locked out of Facebook for a week last week. So
Yeah, you
is
messaged
what
me.
it
You didn't
is.
message me back, and then you were like, "Sorry, well, I've been locked out of my Facebook."
yes.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a really weird, unprofessional reason, but that's what it is.
Guys, I mean, it's the honest reason, so that's why you're here. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you in the next one. I'm gonna roll the outro. I don't remember which one it is. It's been a while since I played this one because Kiko's not here. We can't use the lights, camera, collect one. Let's roll this one. Let's just go with it. Bye, guys.